What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another weekly edition of Veggie's Fantasy Corner, Week 11 in the NFL. If you guys are not subscribed already, please take a moment and like and subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. The Thanksgiving week is coming up next week. It'd be a big thanks to me and the team if you guys could like and subscribe to the channel in this video. That'd be greatly appreciated. We got a lot of stuff, good stuff coming up in the future, man. I plan on doing some giveaways coming up in the future here and some prizes that, you might not bat an eye at. It's definitely, I'm not going to spoil the prizes on what they are yet, but it's definitely something you're going to want to like and subscribe for. So to be able to, and I'm going to put more info out on that in future videos on Instagram and YouTube, whatnot, about what the giveaways are going to be about. But how you enter into those is you're going to like and subscribe to the video, and essentially you're just going to send me that you're subscribed, and that's your entry into the giveaway that's going to be in the future. I don't want to give too much away about when or what the prize is or when the giveaway is going to be, but just know there's going to be some prize giveaways coming soon on this YouTube channel. So thank you again for the like and the subscription, and we'll continue to keep pushing out good content for you guys in the weeks ahead. Let's go back to last week's picks. I did not do very good in last week's picks, man. I'll tell you what. No fire emojis for me coming out of this week. I got 3 snowflakes and no fire emojis. So sadly, my boys did not perform the way I needed them to. Cole Beasley did not get it done. He had 2 catches for 15 yards, which will not win you much in fantasy football, and especially daily fantasy football. Mike Williams had 7.3 points. Again, not going to get it done. Cordell Patterson, 4.3 points. Not going to get it done, man. So sadly, the guys that I really projected who I thought were going to go off did not go off, and that's just the name of the game. We roll, and we keep pushing on to the next week and try to get them right. So hopefully this week we're going to get them right. I'm pretty confident in this lineup here. There's one guy on here that I'm not, too happy with that he's going to fit in my lineup, but there's only enough money and only enough players that you can fit into a Draftkings lineup to be able to actually be able to play. Otherwise, you're over the salary cap and your input won't count. Your lineup won't count if you don't have the right salary cap initiated for those personnel. I'll get to that. It's going to be one of my wide receivers, but let's start with the quarterback position, Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's valued at $7,200 this week. He's going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Primetime game, 325 game in Kansas City. I expect this game to be a very high-scoring game, which is why we're going to roll with Dak Prescott. He's going to have to throw that ball around to be able to keep up with Kansas City's very high-powered offense, and thus putting up more fantasy points, whether it be through the air or rushing. Dak Prescott has the ability to run, which is why we're going to roll with him this week at our quarterback slot, projected at 24 points on the button, no more, no less. I was going to try to get Patrick Mahomes in there because he may get more points than Dak. However, he's valued at, let me just check here. He is valued at $7,600, which is only $400 extra. However, the lineup that I have this week, we can only fit Dak in, and we cannot fit Mahomes in there. Because if I try to fit Mahomes into the lineup this week, I would really have to dig deep into those depth charts on teams that really don't get a lot of volume, and I'm not going to do that. So we're going to roll with Dak Prescott, hoping he has a good week this week against Kansas City. Next 2 slots, my running back slots. We're going to roll with A.J. Dillon of the Green Bay Packers going up against the Vikings, filling in for Aaron Jones this week. A.J. Dillon is a hard runner, and I'm not going to say much else about that. We're going to roll with him and see how he does against Minnesota, whose run defense is not it's not very poised at this moment without Michael Pierce in there. And A.J. Dillon is just a tough runner, man. He's got those big legs. He's strong, and I think he's going to do good this week against Minnesota. Next up is Michael Carter. I had Ernest Johnson in there for the Cleveland Browns this week. However, I did not see, they just put out today that Nick Chubb is going to be coming back from the COVID-19 reserve list, which means Chubb is going to get all the totes again, and Ernest is going to fall back into that RB2 position in Cleveland. I had him in there, but I had to replace him. This was honestly probably only about 10 minutes ago. I had to go back adjust my lineup a little bit to make sure that these guys could fit in there. And it didn't change my lineup all too much. The only guy I replaced was the running back and Michael Carter. Put him in there instead of Ernest Johnson. Michael Carter's been doing it all year for the New York Jets. I plan him to continue doing that against the Miami Dolphins this week. He's projected 13.5 points, valued at 5,800 DK bucks. Michael Carter, the rookie, man. I took him in two of my fantasy drafts, actually. I took a gamble on him. I didn't know he was going to produce this year. I took him in the Dynasty League drafts, and he's my starter, man. He's my starter in both of those leagues that I picked him in the Dynasty draft this year. But for daily, as far as daily fantasy goes, he's valued at 5,800 bucks. Instead of him, there's some value you can pick at 5,800 bucks. You can get Antonio Gibson. He's another good choice. I didn't pick him because I think he's going to be highly owned off a good week last week. And Myles Gaskin, another guy who I think is going to be very highly owned this week, 5,700 bucks. He's going against the New York Jets defense, which is the worst run defense in the NFL. So he's going to be another highly owned player this week. But so all that being given, we're going to go with Michael Carter because he's going to be the lowest owned out of those three running backs in that price range. So that's who we're going to roll with. That are two running back slots, A.J. Dillon and Michael Carter. 3 wide receiver slots. This week I went super wide receiver heavy this week. Big dogs, Tyree Kill, Amari Cooper, and Brandin Cooks. I was going to go with CeeDee Lamb instead of Amari Cooper, but just like with Pat Mahomes, we cannot fit CeeDee Lamb into our lineup. He's valued at about $1,000 more than Amari Cooper this week. And people are saying, "Oh, Amari Cooper hasn't been doing it like CeeDee Lamb has been doing it. Why would you pick him? He's not going to go off." You don't really know who's going to go off, until they go off, and you don't know who's going to be bad until they be bad. You can Cordell Patterson, like last week, he was doing it. He was doing it 15 points a game, and he gets 3.7 points. So it's really the luck of the draw. Injuries are real. These players are real. Real people. Mistakes happen. The game plan changes. And you really just got to get lucky. I don't think I'm going to get lucky, however, with Tyree Kill. Tyree Kill is a beast, and he's very fast, and he's elusive on the field. Dallas and Kansas City are both playing each other this week, which is why I have Amari Cooper in there as well. We're going to go with the stack this week. Dak Prescott throwing the ball to Amari Cooper, maybe a touchdown, maybe gets his 100-yard bonus, that little 3-point bonus you get for going over 100 yards. Really hoping Amari Cooper does that, but this game is going to be a high-scoring game, and I believe it's going to be a shootout through the air, which is why we're rolling with Tyree Kill and Amari Cooper. CeeDee Lamb is definitely going to get touches as well. However, in this lineup this week, we can only fit Amari Cooper in there, and I still think he's going to get good volume against a Kansas City team who is going to put up a lot of points. Thus, the Dallas Cowboys are also going to have to put up a lot of points if they want to win. So those are our 1 and 2 wide receiver slots. Number 3, we have Brandin Cooks. Brandin Cooks was susceptible to injury the last 3 weeks. However, he's back. Last week, I believe he had. Let me check here. I think he had. Let's see. Last week he had 11.6 points, so not great. However, 1 through 5, it was great. 21 points, 22 points, 23 points. 21 points again. So Brandin Cooks shown this year that if Tyrod Taylor is throwing him the football, he can get it done. That's Tyrod Taylor's number 1 guy down in Texas. Even though the Houston Texans aren't, the best football team this year, so to say, each NFL team still gets fantasy points for catching the football and running the football. So Brandin Cooks been that guy, man, for Houston. He's projected 15.5 points going up against Tennessee, another good offensive team that they're going to have to put points on the board for if they want to beat them. And I think Brandin Cooks is going to be that answer this week for the Houston Texans. Next up at our tight end slot, we got Tyler Conklin from the Minnesota Vikings, valued at $3,900. I really like this pick. Kirk Cousins has been looking his way a lot, especially as of late, and in the end zone as well. Minnesota's going up against Green Bay, who Green Bay actually has like a top 5 defense this year, and they don't get the credit that they deserve. They have a good defense. I think our wide receivers are going to have a difficult time this week. Minnesota's wide receivers are going to have a difficult time this week going up against Green Bay's secondary, which is going to make room for Tyler Conklin to be able to get those third down conversions and hopefully a touchdown for us as well. That's really all you want out of a tight end is like one touchdown. You know, obviously if they go off, you want that guy. But if the tight end gets one touchdown or the equivalent of a touchdown, which is like five catches for 50 yards, 10-ish points, that's really all you can ask for out of a tight end in daily fantasy going forward in this. So that's who I'm going to roll with. Out of Minnesota, we got Tyler Conklin at the tight end slot. Our flex spot on the opposite side of the ball, same game, opposite team. Green Bay, we're going to roll with Marquez Valdes-Scantling. He has not been getting it done this year. He's been injured. He's really only had one game where he's gone over 10 points. So this is one of those picks for me where I'm going out on a limb here and really hoping that Aaron Rodgers gets him the football. Patrick Peterson is coming back this week from Minnesota. I think he's going to go one-on-one with Devontae Adams, and that's going to be a good matchup not only for Patrick Peterson, but that's arguably the two best corners or arguably the two best players at their respective position in the game. People will say Patrick Peterson's not the greatest, and I would kind of agree with that. He's not the greatest, but he used to be the greatest, and he's still getting it done. He's going to be going one-on-one with him all game. I'd be very surprised if he didn't, which is going to leave room then for Marquez Valdes-Scantling or Allen Lazard, who I also couldn't fit into our lineup this week, which is why we're going to roll with Marquez Valdes-Scantling, valued at $3,700. So he's cheap for a wide receiver and matched up against Breeshad Breeland of the Minnesota Vikings. We're going to see if they get that deep ball to him, which is what we're going for in our flex spot this week. Lastly, we have our defense special teams, the Carolina Panthers, going up against the Washington football team, who just came off a good win against Tampa Bay, which, again, this is one of those picks where I'm like, it's not the best matchup, but again, you got to get lucky. And Carolina's defense has actually been doing very good this year. They have not, there has been very few games where they've let up less than 5 points. Let's see, 2 games out of 11 weeks where they've let up less than 5 points. Otherwise, it's been 12, 7, 11, 8, 8, 9, and 12 again. So they've been very good as far as the fantasy points in the defense special teams column. Last week, they had it was either a fumble recovery for a touchdown or an interception for a touchdown. I'm not sure which one it was, but it was one of those two where it was a turnover and then they got a touchdown out of it on that same play, which gives the defense 8 points out of that because they get the fumble recovery / interception, which is 2 points, and then they get the touchdown itself for 6 points. So 8 points total. They got that last week. The Washington football team on offense has looked worse. They looked good last week. However, I do think this week in Carolina, it's going to be an away game for the Washington football team coming off a high in the last week, beating Tampa Bay. They're going to be like, yep, we got this. It's just Carolina. I think Carolina's defense is going to step up and say, you can't walk in here on a high note and think you're going to walk all over us. And they're going to step up. Ron Rivera as well. Ron Rivera is the head coach of the Washington football team, used to be the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. I think the fans are going to be loud. I don't know. I just don't like this game for the football team, and I think Carolina's defense is going to step all over them. So that's this week's picks, man. We got Dak Prescott, A.J. Dillon, Michael Carter, 3 wide receivers, and Tyree Kill, Amari Cooper, Brandin Cooks. Tight end is going to be Tyler Conklin. Flex spot, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, and the defensive special team is the Carolina Panthers. Hopefully this week is a lot better than last week. Last week's was it was a dud for me, and I'm saddened to say that. However, it can't be your week every week. If you were, I'd be definitely getting I'd be getting paid a lot more than that to make these picks if I got them right every week. It's just like normal sports betting. You can't get them right every week. However, you bounce back, and you make sure to get them right the next week. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. YouTube, I want to thank you guys again. Make sure you're liked and subscribed. If you're not already to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And like I said, In the future, I'm going to be doing some giveaways. So if you watch this video all the way till the end, make sure that you stay in contact on YouTube. Drop a comment on this video as well, so that I know that you're liked and you're subscribed and you're ready to get into these giveaways, man. I'm excited to give some stuff away to the guys and gals that have been watching this since day one. We've had nothing but exponential likes, viewership, subscriptions, and there's been no negativity on this channel as of yet, man, and that means a lot to me and my team. So thank you again so much. That's it for me. Week 11. I will catch you guys next week on the Thanksgiving special. It's going to be a good one next week, week 12. I'm out.